This morning, as Canadians and Americans were waking up, Donald Trump decided to double tariffs on Canada and to promise to erase the border between them. A lot of the American media is very much underselling how serious what Donald Trump has said. So I'm going to read to you a series of truths from his website, Truth Social, where he effectively threatens to annex Canada in a way that I, and unfortunately many others probably, will interpret as a threat of war. And I need to remind you that the official position of the Canadian government is that Donald Trump is deadly serious when he says he wants to annex Canada, and was the position of the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Donald Trump began with, despite the fact that Canada is charging the USA from 250% to 390% tariffs on many of our farm products, Ontario just announced a 25% surcharge on electricity, of all things. And you're not even allowed to do that because our tariffs are reciprocal. We'll just get it all back on April 2nd. Canada is a tariff abuser, and it has always been. But the United States is not going to be subsidizing Canada any longer. We don't need your cars, we don't need your lumber, we don't need your energy. And very soon, you will find that out. Make America great again. A few hours later, he would announce this. Based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity coming into the United States, I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. Also, Canada must immediately drop their anti-American farmer tariff of 250% to 390% on various U.S. dairy products, which have long been considered outrageous. I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity within the threatened area. This will allow the United States to quickly do what has to be done to alleviate this abusive threat from Canada. If other egregious long-time tariffs are not likewise dropped by Canada, I will substantially increase on April 2nd the tariffs on cars coming into the United States, which will essentially permanently shut down the automobile manufacturing business in Canada. Those cars can easily be made in the United States. Also, Canada pays very little for national security, relying on the United States for military protection. We are subsidizing Canada to the tune of more than $250 billion a year. Why? This cannot continue. The only thing that makes sense is for Canada to become our cherished 51st state. This would make all tariffs and everything else totally disappear. Canadian taxes will be very substantially reduced. They will be more secure militarily and otherwise than ever before. There would no longer be a great northern border problem, and the greatest and most powerful nation in the world would be bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And Canada will be a big part of that. The artificial line of separation drawn many years ago will finally disappear, and we will have the safest and most beautiful nation anywhere in the world. And your anthem, O Canada, will continue to play, but now representing a great and powerful state within the greatest nation that the world has ever seen. And finally, as of this moment, why would our country allow another country to supply us with electricity even for a small area? Who made these decisions and why? And can you imagine Canada stooping so low as to use electricity that so affects the life of innocent people as a bargaining chip and threat? They will pay a financial price for this so big that it will be read about in the history books for many years to come. What scares me most about that is it feels directly like something Vladimir Putin would have said in the lead up to the invasion of Ukraine. And it is this exact idea that the literal borders that separate countries doesn't actually exist if the dictator says it doesn't. That actually we are one people, and it is only natural that our country grows. This is the same things that drove Hitler to annex his neighbors. This is what led to the dissolution of the Austrian First Republic. This is what led to war and annexation. And what is happening to Canada could happen to other places. It is already happening to Greenland. It is already happening to Panama. Other countries will be next. What that statement also fundamentally shows us is that Donald Trump does not actually see Canadians as another people, another sovereign country, a separate place to the United States. And this is incredibly dangerous. Because if a world leader doesn't view their neighbor as an actual real place, they are willing to do the same things that Vladimir Putin did in Ukraine. What the rest of the world needs to do right now is to step up their own tariffs and sanctions. They need to strangle out the economy so that there is no base for Donald Trump to rely upon anymore. This is vital because the longer he is there, the larger the damage gets. And it has only been less than 60 days. Now, please do some engagement or else nobody's gonna see and I'm not gonna get paid. Thank you.